Welcome to the Thursday stream. Howdy, everybody. How's it going, Danarchist? Surfer Go Gritty, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate that. Everybody go to twitch.tv/surfergogritty. Go give them a follow, go hang out with them. Ooh. Sorry about that. I broke my own rule and did not grab my coffee. So I had to run and grab my coffee. Ooh, all right. And make sure we got everything situated, and I believe we do. We've got quite the amount of news to go over. It's been, I honestly thought it was going to be a slow news day, and instead we've got plenty of stuff to go over. And by slow, I mean like lack of variety. Alright, folks. We've got we've got to run the gauntlet, right? Now here's someone I haven't seen in a while.
So this story is pretty frightening, okay? It says, new poll shows dead heat in California recall election. So right now there's a recall effort. The recall effort, by the way, had started as soon as Gavin Newsom was elected. So coronavirus just became an excuse for Republicans to recall him. Now I think you only need like some measly 2 million signatures or something like that just to get a recall started. The recall needs to severely be altered. The required amount of signatures needs to be much higher, and as we're going to see, the way that it's structured in terms of who replaces the governor in a situation of a recall is an absolute joke, okay? So this is pretty frightening because this new poll is saying that it's dead heat. Again, it says new poll shows dead heat in California recall election. It says new polling data released this week found that voters are nearly evenly split over the recall vote for California Governor Gavin Newsom. The Emerson College Nexstar poll found that 46% of voters were in favor of the recall vote against Newsom, while 48% said they were opposed. The remaining 6% said they were undecided. So it says Emerson College noted that the percentage of undecided voters had fallen by 3%, while those in favor of the recall had risen by 3%. So that's a bad sign. You're seeing that the undecideds are going against him, essentially. It says majority of Republicans and Independents were in favor of recalling Newsom.
Hey, new good official, how's it going? Howdy.
54% respectively saying they would vote to remove him.
Now, I mean, just because you support the removal, well, at least just because you support the recall vote does not equal you supporting to remove him? I mean, like, because these are two different things, aren't they not? Because you could be in support of having a re-election. That does not mean you're going to vote against the other guy, depending on who the other folks are. And there's, I think, a bunch of people in the running if this recall does go through. I don't know.
A divide by educational levels was apparent in the results, as those without
I'm
college
hanging in
degrees
there.
were largely in favor of the recall, at 54% compared to 39% who were against it. Among college-educated respondents, 36% said they were in favor of the recall, while 59% were opposed. Along gender lines, men were evenly split at 47%, while women were slightly in favor of keeping Newsom at 51% versus 44%. Among racial groups, black and Asian voters were in favor of keeping Newsom. White voters were evenly split, and a majority of Hispanic voters said they would vote to remove Newsom. So I'm not sure why Hispanic voters don't like Newsom. I don't know if there's a reason. I'm not sure what it is. But this is really scary close, and here's the scary part about this. The way that...
And I mean, I know there's like criticisms for Governor Newsom. However, I don't know if that means that we need to remove... I don't know. That being said, you know what? A well-put recall program should be like the national norm, where if politicians, representatives do not do their job, there has to be some type of avenue to have the ability to recall this person, right? Granted, if it's done wrong, we could just have like effectively like political ops to try to remove each other, right? To try to remove the opponents. But if it's done in a well-structured way with proper checks and balances, I would be in favor of all levels of government having the ability, all elected officials having that ability to be recalled. Gavin Newsom is a neoliberal parasite. Yeah, but if he gets removed, who replaces him? Someone better? I'm good. I have perfected my top 10 favorite show list and movie list, episode list. Nice. Hey, Justin, how's it going? That being said, Danarchist, I mean, like, if they remove him with somebody better, then yeah, sure. Let's do that, you know?
That the recall is held is, I mean, you know, when you vote, you not only vote on whether or not you want to recall the governor, but you vote on who is going to replace him if that is to work. So it's essentially two questions. The second question is a conditional. So the first question is, do you want to recall Governor Gavin Newsom? Yes or no?
Morning.
If the vote is yes, then you are going to be picking on that same place who is going to be the next one if he loses. And if the recall is successful, that second question elects who the governor is. Doesn't need to be a majority. It's fucking insane, dude. So, like right now Larry Elder, it's crazy.
It doesn't need to be a majority? It doesn't need to be a majority? Yikes. Forgive me, ADT, for I have sinned. Tell me, my child, what is your sin? I've committed the all-harmful sin of fat-shaming Steven Crowder. Jesus Christ.
Larry Elder is leading the pack by a long shot with 27% in the race. So if Gavin Newsom is to be recalled, Larry Elder will be the next governor of California. Think about how stupid that is. Think about how dumb and easily manipulated this structure of a recall can be. You barely need any signatures even to get it going.
Right, so here's the problem. Although it is good, the concept, the idea, that you can recall an elected official, it's got to be done with some limit, like with some type of checks and balances, so that it doesn't become like political operations to like get, you know, to remove opponents just like that. During his first election, I voted for a third-party hippie that wore a muumuu and wrote her haikus. We were destroyed by Newsom. Oh yeah, gee, I wonder why, KTS. So this idea of like the recall doesn't even get voted on by the majority. This seems kind of weird.
And then it's such a clown show. You don't need a majority, and there's no, you know, everybody can run. A ton of people run, and so everybody just splits, and then some dude with like a barely, you know, first past the post number wins. It's fucking insane. If you're going to have a recall, really at the end of the day, how it should be is you have the question. These two things should happen at different times. The question for a recall should happen first. That should be the only question.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, once it's determined whether or not the recall was successful, then you should have a legitimate special election to replace that person. This is so dumb. It's insane. The idea that Larry Elder could legitimately be the governor of California is very scary. The guy's conservative, he's libertarian, he's basically Dave Rubin, essentially. So it's very, very worrisome. It's insane. But he could definitely lose this. You know, it's very well within the margin of error. There's also still undecided voters, so it could flip against him easily. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is really worrisome stuff here, man. Definitely don't vote to recall Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is not perfect, but
I think that like the real issue here is the process by which this is like done. If it's really like that, I think that they need to I think that they need to reform that system, because the concept and the idea is good. I'm not against the idea of being able to recall your elected officials if they're like not not representing you, because that's what you voted them in for. But I also don't want this to become like a just a political bludgeon, right, that gets passed around. So yeah.
Considering how dangerous it could be for Larry Elder to be the governor.
True.
Wow, that's fucking insane.
True. Only real patriots get the solar-powered thingy-majig. Yeah. Nice meme. For patriots, the mini solar cell.
Swish this.
Oh! No. Alright, hit me up, Rational National.
And yes, in hindsight, I wish that had not become law.
With COVID-19 back on the rise thanks to the unvaccinated and the Delta variant, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson just admitted that he was wrong to sign a law.
Did he cut his hair? Shame on you, Dave. Shame on you, David.
Banning mask mandates. A mandate that means businesses, schools, and cities cannot implement rules to allow entry only to masked or vaccinated people in order to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Now worried about the potential spread to children under 12, Hutchinson admits he was wrong.
I signed it for those reasons, that our cases are at a low point. Everything has changed now. And yes, in hindsight, I wish that had not become law. But it is the law, and the only chance we have is either to amend it or for the courts to say
I need to start a recall petition for David's hair. Can we start a recall petition for David's hair?
that it has an unconstitutional foundation.
Now, politicians rarely admit when they're wrong, especially conservative ones, but it's, I guess, good to see some awareness here, even though, of course, he's not going to learn from this. Republicans never do. They simply are the result of what their support base wants. And I'll get to a clip in a second showing you just how completely batshit insane this guy's base is. But before I get there, this is why this issue still matters. Kids under 12 cannot get the vaccine. If you want to be a stupid adult and expose yourself to COVID-19, despite the fact that the vast majority of people ending up in the hospital right now are unvaccinated, let me show you some details here, then, you know, that's your prerogative. But
No. It is not your prerogative. Hold on. See, I think we're, like, losing the plot here. This is not the first time I've seen somebody say this. No, it is not your prerogative. The problem is, it affects other people. Right? You, yourself, may be fine, but if you pass it on to somebody who is in that category of, oh god, what is the word? Of vulnerable folks, you know, people with, like, lower immune systems, elderly folks, you just don't know, right? If you're in that category, you could be screwed, simply because somebody made it their prerogative to not do X, Y, or Z for public health.
the reality is, the vast majority of people ending up in the hospital are unvaccinated, and now it's even getting to kids. So you see here, this is in Arkansas.
Now that's true.
In general, in the
That's true. This is the overwhelming majority. The overwhelming majority of hospitalizations, severe cases, and deaths, and cases are unvaccinated folks. I just read the headline. A Texas GOP official who mocked vaccines and pushed anti-mask content just died from COVID-19. Yeah, that's super sad. Because, like, this is the result of a lot of propaganda. Yeah, my body, my choice. Lamau. It's like clockwork. Like clockwork. How they, like, shift positions. Hey, Tina. How's it going? I'm glad you're here. Like clockwork, these folks, like, shift positions. Unbelievable.
The U.S. cases are on the rise, but you see here a massive spike right now in COVID-19 thanks to the Delta variant and the unvaccinated. With Arkansas Hospital says not a single ICU patient is vaccinated as Delta surges, and Arkansas Children's Hospitals report record high number of children hospitalized
Florida,
with COVID-19,
Texas,
which leads to the fact that they have to obviously now reassess whether or not they can get rid of this law, which gets us to this. So on Wednesday morning, the Arkansas State Legislature began a special session to examine whether the law banning mask mandates should be amended specifically to allow school boards and local school districts to have them. After legislators read the special session announcement from the governor noting that this variant has affected a higher rate of school-aged children and that there is an urgent need to enact exceptions, the session adjourned
True,
until...
and like also like this new Delta variant, or well, it's not new anymore, but this currently established Delta variant is showing a trend of affecting younger people, right? So it's not just the elderly. It's trending to lower, the ages of people being affected is lower, and it seems like the severity is also, the chances of you getting severe COVID are also higher even if you're younger or healthy.
Thursday morning. So hopefully we'll see some progress here in Arkansas at the very least to protect children and have them wear masks indoors since they cannot get vaccinated. But let me now show you a clip here from a town hall with Asa Hutchinson. And I mean, it really shows you just the how brainwashed these people are and how disturbing all of it is.
True.
The way I saw my town treat our governor, I couldn't believe it.
From people talking over the governor to heckling others who were speaking. The chaos from the crowd was loud and clear. Ashley McFadden shared the story of her sick brother. She says he does not have COVID but needed immediate care this week. He was forced to wait 14 hours to be admitted because hospitals were diverting patients.
14 hours because people are being, number one, selfish and petulant children. Okay? That's literally what this is. Grown ass adults are acting like petulant children, perpetuating this. And now this poor person, her husband, or this person's husband, had to wait 14 hours. Alright?
As she told her story, people in the crowd started laughing at her.
I mean, like, yeah, and of course, like, it's so funny. It's so, like, these people are literally petulant children. Like, how is it that that grown-ass adults are acting like this? Unbelievable. Yes, we will try to get to it, Thinking Sabercat. There's Lambda, yes, we'll also get to, this.
I tried to give them questions of, are you a parent, a sibling, or do you have loved ones? And some lady spoke up and said, we don't want to suffocate our children. And I began saying, my brother's lungs only function at 40% and he double masks and does not complain. And they laughed.
So this crowd laughed.
Grown-ass adults. Grown-ass adults, literally, like, laughing. I watched this on stream earlier, and vax people are so selfish. True. Yeah, true.
At this girl's situation with her brother having to wait 14 hours for a hospital bed. Again, he doesn't have COVID-19, but he's ill, needed a hospital bed, had to wait 14 hours because selfish people, like the vast majority of that
True, and like not only that, hey folks, the problem isn't just the quote-unquote low death rate or any of that. It turns out, and I know this is like shocking, this is like breaking news, but like it's not just about death rates when it comes to COVID, although over 611,000 people, that is quite the death count in and of itself. But removing that aside, long COVID, permanent health damage. Not only that, because COVID is such a highly infectious virus, they have to seal off entire wings of hospitals, which limits their resources. And guess what? A lot of these beds are being taken up. So people who don't have anything to do with COVID-related health problems don't have a room or don't have a bed or have to wait for elective procedures, which a lot of hospitals in South Florida are stopping elective procedures because they're getting full. Their resources are being stretched thin, right?
out at that town hall, not getting vaccinated, ending up in the hospital, filling up these hospital beds, now taking up spaces for people that, you know, in general would need to go to the hospital, but can't get a hospital bed 14 hours because of all the beds being filled by these selfish individuals. Just absolutely disgusting. And it's important.
Like at this point, like it would be one thing if it like only affected you, right? Because then it would be an issue of like, yeah, all right, bro. I mean, go in your Darwin Award, but it doesn't, right? It doesn't. It affects all of us, right?
To be clear here, there are, yes, some cases where people are just, they're too busy. They can't take any time off work to go get the vaccine. Those are outliers. But you have here, it's clear looking at the numbers, especially in Republican states, the majority of people that still are not getting vaccinated are people who are just brainwashed. Right now, Arkansas, I think only about 36% of Arkansas is fully vaccinated. So the vast majority of people in Arkansas, adults in Arkansas, are not vaccinated. This is a choice the vast majority of them are making. And they're putting the lives of not just themselves, but others at risk, children at risk, who of course can't get the vaccine.
Yeah, Facebook, not even once, folks. I hope they go, yeah, but the thing is, like, that's not how that works, though, right? Because, like, it doesn't just affect them. And I'm sorry you've lost a lot of, like, friends, but, you know, the reality is, it doesn't just affect them, clearly, as you see. And that's the problem.
It is just a complete mess. And, you know, there really is no way, there's no way to educate people that are so far gone, that are seeing people around them die. I mean, I covered a couple weeks ago, a anti-vaxxer literally in the hospital bed recovering from COVID-19, still saying he's not going to get the vaccine. You can't solve stupid.
I mean, true. True. All right, moving on.
Video from a concerned citizen, one of our viewers in Dothan, I think it's pronounced Dothan, maybe Dothan, Alabama. Marjorie Taylor Greene was in Alabama about 10 days ago at an event at which filming was not allowed. But our viewer, this concerned citizen, surreptitiously filmed. And
no filming allowed? That sounds like censorship. That sounds pretty weird. I thought you were all about making sure that things are public, transparent, nothing gets, censored. Everything should be out in the open, right? No? Huh.
In this event, sponsored by the Alabama Federation of Republican Women, Marjorie Taylor Greene was the keynote speaker. She suggests shooting vaccinated.
Imagine having Marjorie Taylor Greene as your keynote speaker.
If indeed people start coming door to door offering vaccines. This is a sitting member of Congress. This is video provided exclusively to us. Take a look at this. Take a listen to this.
And one more thing on that, you lucky people here in Alabama might get a knock on your door because I hear Alabama might be one of the most unvaccinated states in the nation.
I wonder why Alabama is one of the most unvaccinated states. Destiny put it best. I'm assuming he said we don't tolerate people shooting in public. Why should we treat these biohazards as the hazards to public health they are? They are a hazard to public health. What are the odds MTG used the stand word in a keynote speech? I don't know. Community organizations handing out vaccine info flyers. What is this? What this is about? Yeah. They're painting the picture of like government goon squads coming in and like busting through your door and then like holding you down as you like kick and scream and cry. American tears with the flag in the background as they like hold you down and then inject you as like your patriotism leaves your body or something. I don't know. As your freedom leaves the body.
Guys, they're cheering for being unvaccinated. They're cheering for being unvaccinated. They're cheering because they haven't been vaccinated.
Well, Joe Biden wants to come talk to you guys. He's going to be sending one of his police state friends.
One of his police state friends? No, they're from the community. You absolute Looney Tunes. They're from the community. And no, this isn't like Joe Biden like at the helm of like directing this himself.
To your front door.
So I call them nurses, police state friends. I would call them nurses.
knock on the door, take down your name, your address, your family members' names, your phone numbers, your cell phone numbers, probably ask for your social security number, and whether you've taken the vaccine or not. Yeah, well, what they don't know is in the South, we all love our Second Amendment rights.
Can you imagine?
Jesus Christ. So, the implication here is, I don't think it takes too much to read into it. But the implication is very clear. And collect your taxes. Yeah, that's like basically like this outrageous, like ridiculous caricature of what like is actually like the idea behind trying to make like a massive effort to do public service announcements, up to and including having people like go door to door and like, you know, give information. So people are going door to door regarding vaccines. That's happening. Supposedly, that's one of the ideas that the Biden administration had to try to get more awareness about the vaccine. It's basically, from what I understand, a giant PSA like effort. A giant PSA effort to try to get as much, you know, information out there. There's also talks about having mobile vaccine units where if people can't have the time to, you know, take time off work, they'll go to your job. They'll go to you. It's a shame that there's not a left 4chan. Nah, I wouldn't agree with, I wouldn't want a left-wing 4chan. It's already bad enough when we have, like, Hassan tweeting fucking conspiracy theories, you know? Like, I don't know. So many, yeah, so it's something like to the effect of like a large PSA announcement. She doesn't think, that's the problem, Danarchist. The first mistake was you assume that she thinks.
And we're not real big on strangers showing up on our front door, are we?
Oh shit, we just shoot him. Jesus Christ. Like, does this sound like sane? Is this like someone who's like okay? And I don't mean that like in any disrespectful way. I mean like, holy yikes. Does that sound reasonable, rational in any way, shape, or form? What? Hey, Zimbu. Unbelievable.
We're big on our Second Amendment rights, and we're not big on strangers showing up at our front door. This is a sitting member of Congress joking about the idea.
Yeah, correct. A sitting member of Congress, like, implicitly saying that, hey, you know what? We're here in Alabama, which is, like, really weird, because, like, I don't think, like... I don't think the overwhelming majority of people feel this way. But, like... It's just like this riling up, right? And saying like, hey, you know, we're big on their Second Amendment, right? And we ain't too kind to random strangers who knock on our door, right? Like, okay, dude. This is dangerous. The first time she started violence, why is nothing ever done? Like, can you imagine Schumer doing that? Oh yeah, the entire world will end. If the entire world would end if somebody like Chuck Schumer would say anything, even remotely close to anything like this, they'd be like crying for his impeachment or removal from office or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. True. Thank you, Sabercat. Coffee grabbed. Excellent. The best way to handle this is to send out letters saying you've been invited to Trump's August inaugurations. Only vaxxed people allowed. No, like, I think the best way is... I don't know, because, like, at this point, I'm at a loss. I'm really at a loss as to how to reach these, like, individuals. But I saw as I was driving by, there was a large sign saying, thank you, Donald Trump, for the vaccine. And I saw this a while ago, and it got me thinking, like, you know what? Fuck it. If this is what it's going to take, fuck it. I'll bite. Listen, to all those folks who are like super anti-vax, are you really going to deny Daddy Trump? I mean, he worked so hard. He worked tirelessly to get you this vaccine, and now you're really going to spit in the face of Daddy Trump? I mean, that doesn't seem very that doesn't seem very patriotic. It doesn't seem like you're a real patriot. I mean, didn't Donald Trump spend months working tirelessly to get you this vaccine? Remember Operation Warp Speed? You guys were like really on board with that, and now we have the vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And I mean, you're really gonna disrespect, you're really gonna be that unpatriotic and that ungrateful to Daddy Trump? Really? Really? I don't know what to do. Right, Dendara. The best thing to do might not make fun of them or maybe even harass them. Only makes things worse. Yeah, they usually just double down when you try to do that, Surfer Girl. So I don't know. At this point, I'm at a loss. At this point, I'm at a loss. Other than like, hey, look, think about this. Think about it this way. You as a Donald Trump supporter were massively in favor of all his policies. One of them happened to be Operation Warp Speed, which in some way, shape, or form did deliver the vaccine. And now you're all of a sudden not really on board with that. I mean, like, it sounds kind of weird, but like, aren't you like a Trump supporter? Aren't you like a true patriot or something? I don't know. I really feel like at this point, it's like this is the type of rhetoric that I'm completely fine using to try to get people on board. That is true, Zimbo. Some people are just too far gone, but maybe somebody will take it. I don't know. Hey, Alio. Dr. Heamed Out. Dr. Heamed Out. Rating with a party of 62. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Good morning. Don't do crack cocaine. That's excellent advice. The fuck is a red flag then? True. Although making fun of people is sometimes, quote, satisfying, the reality is, like, at this point, I'm trying to, hey, Choke, at this point, I'm trying to get people as much on board as possible, especially with the vaccine. And, like, I don't know. I just feel like whatever it is that we need to do to try to get as many people on board is what we need to do. Raiders, welcome. For those of you that don't know who I am A Difficult Truth. We do news and politics in the mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we do Saturday Catterdays. I appreciate all of these new follows. Thank you, Dr. Heamed. Please make sure that if you don't already, go check out Dr. Heamed Out, the fastest growing beard on Twitch. They do phenomenal streams. One would say they are beer-delicious streams, one would say. Go check them out. They do awesome stuff. Really fun, really interactive stream. And if you guys don't know who we are, we do streams Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And on Saturdays, we do Saturday Catterdays, where we do a little bit more chill, a little more chill vibes. Perfect follow-up to Heem. True. I agree. From the fastest growing beard on Twitch to the only beanie on Twitch. How's that? How's that for an intro? From the fastest growing beard on Twitch to the only beanie on Twitch, right? Maybe interview Tina 40, David Pakman style. Oh no, I couldn't. Pepe Silva, how's it going? Alright, let me take a quick second. Isn't Timpool on Twitch? No, I don't think so. Pepe Silva, Ice Beams, LXLX. Button clicker. Patty on the wagon. Thank you so much for all the new follows. Dr. Heemdow, thank you for the raid. We got one dab from Pepe, the groundhog. Twitch would be too hostile and unmanageable for him, I think. The guy who makes Beanie look cool, unlike Dim Stool. True. Listen, the Beanie has its own ways. So respect the Beanie, or else you end up like Timpool. I couldn't finish my pillow interview with Pac-Man, it was too much. Yeah, I mean, like... that interview was wild. I saw most of it. That interview was wild. The only hipster to pay on Twitch? True. Alright, folks. Let's see if we can get through some of this.
I mean, is it a joke, I guess is the question. Alluding to the idea of, if people come around offering vaccines to keep us safe, to reduce the chance that we die, guns would be what are deployed against those individuals. A sitting member of Congress. So thanks to our viewer who was asked to remain anonymous,
that's right.
Filmed this surreptitiously. Again, that was July 23rd
it's a fashionable
in Dothan, Alabama. It was an event actually. Mo Brooks also was there. Mo Brooks is the guy who, despite saying that the January 6th insurrection was no big deal, we found out he was wearing body armor that day. He also spoke at this event, and absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, he did interview Mike Pillow. Remove the beanie for 10 seconds should be a points redemption. Maybe I'll make it like 1 million points, right? It's gonna be a collective effort to get to that one.
Spread the video far and wide. We do want to make sure as many people as possible see that.
All right. No. Jesus. Okay, so that being said, I think that lays kind of the groundwork for what we're going to talk about. Yeah, he trolled him really good. Bonus protection +2, true. To think there's a thick mane under that beanie, but it's probably just a George Costanza. Well, there is out there what I look like without hiding my hair, which is just another way of hiding my my power level. That's literally what this is, right? Because if I let my hair down, I don't know. I think that I think the internet might explode. As somebody said earlier, so yesterday. So yeah, I don't know. I have to keep like my power level hidden, and the beanie, toque, it keeps that power level in check. True. Right? Like imagine like the times where like Sarah Palin was like the most outrageous like Republican. And now we have like people literally insinuating that we should, that we quote, don't like strangers and that we love the Second Amendment. Marge Simpson. Well, I don't know, Pepe. There's a few contenders. Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a lot of strong contenders. I currently have 221,000 working on it. Yeah, maybe I can make that like a massive like group channel point where I will stream. Well, I don't know. The internet might explode. Ooh, I don't know if that's. I don't know if the internet's ready for that. New COVID variants. Epsilon. This is the layup to this article. Lambda may be resistant to vaccines, early lab studies show. The Epsilon and Lambda variants of the COVID are variants of interest according to CDC, and early studies show they have developed a resistance to the vaccines. Japanese researchers found the Lambda variant, which was initially discovered in Peru and is now spreading through South America, is highly transmissible and more resistant to vaccines than the initial COVID-19 strain. So, yeah, something that we've been talking about is the reality, the idea that, of course, viruses are going to virus, and they mutate constantly. One of these mutations or variants could circumvent the vaccine. We knew that this could be a possibility, so that's why there's such an urge to get as many people vaccinated as fast as possible, right? Before something like this catches hold. Well, preliminary papers that have yet to be, so just to be clear, have yet to be peer-reviewed, are saying that, you know what, maybe we should pay attention to this, right? You all saw that after force the vote related cameo? No. What? The Constitution allows us guns to kill the state, not each other, but so what's that's what the militia shit was about? Yeah, to overthrow a tyrannical government. Allegedly. Apparently there's also a Delta Plus. Yes, I did see that somebody mentioned that. The researchers warned in a paper posted July 28 that has yet to be peer-reviewed that Lambda's label as a variant of interest instead of variant of concern might downplay the growing threat of the strain. Meanwhile, the Epsilon variant, which was initially discovered in California in 2020, is spreading in Pakistan. What? How? And is proving to be resistant to vaccines, according to researchers. Health authorities issued an alert after they discovered 5 cases of Epsilon variant in Lahore, Pakistan. Medical experts believe that the vaccine-resistant strain is putting the vaccinated people as well as unvaccinated people at risk. Jesus Christ. Adding that the strain is just as transmissible as the Delta variant. Despite these early studies, previous studies have shown vaccines, including those available in the US, work against variants of concern such as Delta. The vaccines also prevent serious illness, hospitalization, and death in most breakthrough cases where a fully vaccinated person tests positive for the coronavirus. So TLDR of this entire spiel is that A, vaccines are incredibly important, incredibly effective at keeping you alive, effective in terms of like reducing death, severe illness, and also the quicker everybody gets vaccinated who's eligible, meaning if you're 12 years and older, then the less of a worry we have with this vaccine bringing out a variant that circumvents that, and we're back to square zero, right? The real danger is the HIV super strain that could infections be years before the system kicking in. Yeah, I don't know if it's like that, but clearly the direction of where this is heading should indicate that we should try to get as many people vaccinated as fast as possible to everybody who's eligible, which is 12 and up. I mean, like, that's literally it. And mask up in the meantime. I mean, like, this is the only way. And this is just to further stress the fact that we need to do this. There are 6 variants in circulation. That's really scary. I don't know, but I'm going to say that, of course, viruses are going to virus, and the mutations have been incredibly fast. And that's what's concerning about this type of and this is why you know, we need to pay attention to science, get vaccinated, and so on and so forth. Vaccines to be got to these needs to be to these countries in the global south. True, because, well, that, yeah, it does need to go to as many people as possible, particularly those who cannot afford to widely spread and develop these vaccines. So yes, Anarchist, we do need to get these vaccines to the countries in the global south as fast as possible. Continue to use vaccine rollouts and COVID to do genocide. Yeah, well, like, the issue is would be then to perpetuate the allowance of privatization of healthcare. If we saw it spread, we saw the creation of variants. True. The most bullshit argument, the founding fathers against vaccines, even though Washington encouraged Americans to get the smallpox vax. I've never heard that. I've literally never heard that. I've literally never heard that argument. But how do you explain that to the Republicans? You don't. You try to tell them that this is what you do to the Republicans, those who refuse to listen. Just tell them this is the Hail Mary, all right? The Hail Mary is to tell them that Daddy Trump, the Hail Mary is to tell them Daddy Trump made this for you, so therefore you should be a real patriot and take it. And like that's about it. That's the last Hail Mary. Listen, we try, but that's about the last Hail Mary, because clearly reason, logic is not working. Very slowly with crayons. You always find a way around it. Right, that's why I'm saying, like, the only Hail Mary is to just tell them, look, Daddy Trump did this for you, so be a real patriot or whatever. Yeah, Memmius, the problem is they're not interested in facts. They're not interested in statistics. They're not interested in any type of data. So you gotta hit them with the feelies in some way, shape, or form and adjust that rhetoric that way. The only thing that I can think of is like, listen, Daddy Trump made this for you, so be a real patriot and do it. And yeah, do it. That's the Hail Mary, folks. Oh my god. Oof. Hold on. Howdy, howdy. Right. Is the reason she won't get one? Is there like a is there like a specific reason why Pirate Ninja? If you don't take this vaccine, someone in the global south will. You don't want them stealing your vaccines, do you? Drew. Hey, whatever works. Listen, I don't know. I don't, like, whatever it is that we need to do to get them on board is what I'm in favor of. The US comes in last in healthcare rankings of high-income countries. Nice. American exceptionalism, yeah. The US once again last in access to healthcare, equity, and outcomes of high-income countries, despite spending a far greater share of its economy on healthcare. Cool. Very good. Very efficient system. But I've been called various names because I got my vax. Well, I mean, all you can do is try, especially with family, is to be very patient, and especially if you're like IRL, you know, for face to face, is to try to, you know, speak to them, tell them, you know, like how you feel and why this is concerning. Maybe appeal to some type of like feelies. I wouldn't know. Only you know your sister, right? Yeah, shocking headline. The nation has landed in the basement in all 7 studies the Commonwealth Fund has conducted since 2004. Nice meme. The US is only one of the 11 countries surveyed not to have universal health insurance coverage. Cool. While the latest data does not reflect the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, it lays out the strengths and weaknesses of each country's healthcare system when COVID hit the world in early 2020. The U.S. health insurance does not provide enough protections, which compromises Americans' health and finances. Wow, really? You needed a whole study for that one? You needed a whole study for that one? I could have told you that one. Said David Blumenthal, the president of the Commonwealth Fund, which promotes better healthcare access and quality, particularly for the uninsured and disadvantaged. That forces people to skip care or become burdened with medical debt, which is like an insane concept on its face, right? Medical debt. Think about that. Medical debt. That is an unbelievable, wild concept to me. In no other country does income inequality so profoundly limit access to healthcare as it does here. True. Far too many people can't afford the care they need, and far too many are uninsured, especially when compared to other wealthy nations. Half of lower income U.S. adults reported that they did not receive care because of the cost, compared to just over a quarter of high income Americans, the study found. Well, yeah, I mean, if you have like the money, then it really doesn't matter for you here, right? I'm in medical debt. Jesus Christ, Nara. A wealthcare system. That's a great way of framing it. Yeah, we don't necessarily have a healthcare system. We have something more akin to a wealthcare system, which is, of course, the best in the world, if you can pay for it. Half of lower-income U.S. adults reported they did not receive care because of the cost, compared to just over a quarter of high-income Americans, the study found. In the United Kingdom, only 12% of people with lower income and 7% with higher income said they face such financial barriers. Jesus Christ. This is like unbelievable. What's more, a high-income American was more likely to report financial hurdles than a low-income person in nearly all the countries surveyed, which include Australia, Canada, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and the UK. Norway, the Netherlands, and Australia were the best performers in the study, which looked at access to healthcare outcomes, administrative efficiency, equity, and care process, which includes preventative care, patient engagement, and other metrics. In addition to lower access to care, US also ranked poorly on maternal mortality, infant mortality, life expectancy at age 60, and deaths that were potentially preventable with timely access to care, the survey found. Yeah, it's just like bad marks all around. The nation landed at the bottom when it came to administrative efficiency because of the time providers and patients have to spend dealing with paperwork. Like, imagine, like, I mean, I'm sure that everybody here who has experienced the wealthcare system has a story where you have to spend hours on the phone with your insurance, with the pharmacy, with the doctor, and then the insurance, and then the pharmacy, and then the doctor, and have everything. You have to like drag the insurance company along to try to like get anything done. Only to be told that you're actually in the incorrect pharmacy. You had to call this pharmacy, which then they will tell you, actually, that pharmacy is not within this network. You actually have to call. Like, this is like unbelievably inefficient, ridiculous, and quite frankly, it costs lives. Europe is catching up with you real fast, Jesus. In 2010, I was in Cuba and got sunburned, and a local doctor visited me and gave me bandages. Total cost $25. If I had been in Florida, I'm told it would be about $1,500. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But dude, freedom of choice, yeah. Freedom of choice, amazing. So much freedom. I'm so free that I can like choose how and whether or not like the method of me dying because I couldn't afford healthcare. I'm just like absolutely in love with the amount of freedom. it's so elastic, the demand for healthcare, right? Like it's so elastic that I can actually through my superpowers, can tell myself, as I have a health condition, I can tell it to pause. I can tell it to pause while I shop around for the correct hospital to go to. That's how elastic, the demand for healthcare is. That I can literally pause mid heart attack and figure out which hospital to choose that will be cheaper. That's just how elastic it is. I mean, it happens all the time. Spend with dealing with paperwork, duplicative medical testing, and insurance disputes. The one area in which America excelled was care process, where it earned second place. Nice. The nation outperformed in terms of rates of mammography screenings and influenza vaccines for older adults, as well as the share of adults who have talked with healthcare provider about nutrition, smoking, and alcohol use. Yay! So we're like cool in that one area. Sweet. Oh yeah, I do have special powers. That's what this is about. My beanie, right? I already told you guys, my beanie is what keeps the power level in check. Right. Yeah. Imagine like the irony going over. Imagine you losing the plot completely by like loving a show like Breaking Bad, but like realizing that the reality is like some dude literally had to be a crime boss. Some dude literally had to be a crime boss to pay for his cancer treatment because he didn't have money, and B, make sure his family was okay when he died, right? Like, thanks for the follow, Sean Brios. Appreciate that. Adults in US and Norway reported the highest use of web-based portals for communicating medical concerns and refilling medications. Among those with chronic illness, American adults are most likely to discuss goals, priorities, and treatment options with their providers, though less likely to receive as much support as they felt was needed. Yeah, because insurance companies are designed to like shaft you at every corner. They're not designed to provide you healthcare. They're designed to make as much money as possible. Jesus Christ. The do not travel zone. Anyways, that's a nice meme. Congrats, America. You did it. Mighty Max grew up to be a Twitch streamer? No way, he did? What? Howdy, howdy, Darknet. So it is now August. It is now August. Insurance, housing, medical care, all basic needs, all profit driven. True. Maybe that shouldn't be. Maybe there's inherent problems with maybe there's inherent problems with the commodification of like basic human needs. I don't know, something to think about. Right, my medical network also assumed during the pandemic all men drank 5 alcoholic drinks. Yeah, and then they like, because they don't have like, like one of the market failures of like a for-profit system is that they have to assume that the worst to make sure that they're not losing money, so that they put their premiums based on like, obviously like in the event that somebody's incredibly unhealthy and a liability to pay out claims. So like they make sure that the premiums are always like assuming that, you know, you're unhealthy. Alio with the 10 biddies, thank you so much. The next jab on the 10th, so I'll be able to see my doctor and dentist for the first time in 22 months. Jeez, I haven't seen a doctor in 12 years. Not months. That would be years. I think the last time I saw a doctor, I was like a teenager. I was like 15. Alright, so we are in August right now, and we have to deal with this. Judge sanctioned lawyers for bringing 2020 election conspiracy lawsuit. That's right. Still. A federal judge has sanctioned lawyers who filed the suit against Dominion Voting Systems, Facebook, and others claiming conspiracy in the 2020 presidential election. Originally, plaintiffs sued on behalf of all registered American voters and said the 2020 election involved a conspiracy between governors, secretaries of state, election officials, Dominion, Facebook, and more. In an opinion on Tuesday, U.S. Magistrate Judge for the District of Colorado, Reed Narrator said the complaint is just one enormous conspiracy theory. Narrator said that although the lawsuit did not aim to challenge or reverse the election results, which is really weird because I thought that was the whole spiel, the effect of all the allegations and relief sought to be sowed over the would be to sow doubt over the legitimacy of the Biden presidency and the mechanisms of American democracy, the actual system of voting. In numerous states, the magistrate judge said the filing was in bad faith and no reasonable attorney would have believed the plaintiffs that had standing to bring the suit. Right, but the unfortunate thing is that these people are not reasonable. Albeit disorganized and fantastical, the complaint's allegations are extraordinarily serious, and if accepted as true by a large number of people, are the stuff of which violent insurrections are made. Yeah. So stop it. So stop it, okay? It's August. Stop it. Following the Biden victory in the 2020 election, numerous lawsuits were filed to challenge the results alleged widespread voter fraud. On Tuesday, the opinion referred to another similar election fraud suit that failed, saying this is like what, over 60 plus failed lawsuits, for which they were copying had failed. In the opinion, judge also noted that the independent and Republican sources, including Attorney General William Barr, have found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's August and we're still here. The opinion said the plaintiff's lawyer would have to pay a portion of the defendant's legal fees, saying that the sanction would not be excessive and the lawyer could appeal the sanction decision if they choose. Yeah, like at this point, if you're making like beyond wild frivolous lawsuits and taking up like time and resources, I don't know, maybe a review on your law license needs to be done. NHS, I have to see my doctor due to my testosterone imbalance. Well, I'm glad you have at least the NHS to assist. I mean, here it would be a mission and a half. Problem is with lobbyists. I think that can we say lobbyism? Lobbying. Okay, that's the word. I think lobbying should be just straight up outlawed, or at this point, it should be as tightened and regulated to the point where large corporations can't have more of a say than the people. If that happens, then an imbalance is there, and therefore needs to be brought down. So either or, in my opinion, it either needs to be just completely done away with, or severely restricted to the point where it is not possible for large corporations or wealthy individuals to outbalance anybody, right? Target to pay 100% of college tuition and textbooks in bid to attract workers. We're having issues hiring workers. Target said Wednesday will offer new perks to workers, to woo workers, a debt-free way to get to college and to college degree and payments towards graduate programs. I'd also like to point out that this could have been done from the way beginning. It's just now that they're put in such a position that they are having to finally capitulate, which is great. Which is great news. But the reality is, they could have done this from the beginning. The reality is, they could have easily they could have just done this, right? Starting this fall, the big box retailers said it would cover the cost of tuition, fees, and textbooks for part and full-time workers who pursue a qualifying undergraduate degree at more than 40 institutions. It will also fund advanced degrees, paying up to $10,000 each year for master's programs at these schools. The National Retailer is the latest company to dangle perks to attract job candidates in a competitive labor market. With the move, Target joins other retailers and restaurant chains including Chipotle and Starbucks that have programs to help employees pay for college. Walmart recently announced that it would cover the full cost of college tuition and books for its employees after previously requiring them to pay $1 a day. Yeah, like all of these folks absolutely easily can do it. They just have opted not to. But now that they're in this position, they're having to it's forcing their hand, right? That's literally what's happening. Just select a few homeless people, drug addicts, or single parents to government committees. Well, I mean, like, whoever's qualified, right? Here's the odd thing that lots of MAGA people are pushing. And asked what Trump did in office. A guy on Facebook told me he saved the world from COVID. What? As COVID comes from alien blood with Trump what? What? I don't even know where to begin. I would just like, Patty Wagon, I would just like for that to not be a thing, right? I would like to homelessness not be a thing. I would like for, like, drug addicts or folks who are having, like, substance problems to have the healthcare that they need. And, like, I don't know, I would like for these things to just not be a thing, right? I mean, provide housing, provide healthcare. I don't know. Hey, Miss Nixa. My friend works at Target's distribution center. According to her, it's way better than Amazon. Well, there you go. At Target, employees at stores, distribution centers, and headquarters locations will qualify on their first day. Nice. Target will cover the cost of 250 programs aligned to its business, such as computer science, information tech, and business management. If an employee chooses a different specialty or seeks a graduate degree, Target will pay $5,250 for non-master's degrees and up to $10,000 for a master's degree each year in direct payments to the academic institution. Although, like, this is good, I just fear, like, programs like this are awesome and fantastic, but I do think that still there needs to be a public college tuition free to make sure that there's no rent-seeking behavior from private institutions to raise their premiums because they have programs like this that they know these companies will pay them, that they know that there's going to get, like, subsidized, so they keep raising their tuitions because they can. So I don't know, I feel like although this is great and I completely support this, there needs to be a college community college tuition free option. Like the program needs to exist alongside with this. These problems always exist as long as they only considered by the middle and upper classes. I mean, yes, but also like the working class, all of the working class has technically the power to do something as well. Yeah, they believe that Hollywood and people are clones because they don't have suntans. Oh, cool. Target said it plans to invest $200 million in the education program over the next 4 years. It developed the program with Guild Education, a company that manages corporate education assistance programs. Participating schools including University of Arizona, Oregon State University, University of Denver, and Morehouse College. So again, although this is a good idea, and I support this, I also don't want to lose the plot when it comes to like making sure that people have access to education. So a community college that's tuition free, maybe trade schools for tuition free trade schools as an option would also be good. We could end homelessness with twice over, just 10% of the Pentagon budget. I think it's something along those lines. I think the last figure that I saw was like 22 billion or something like that, which is like a fraction of the military budget. Yeah, we can do that. But you know, priorities. Research each school before applying. True. I don't trust Oregon University. I have no idea. I don't know. Research each school. True. And yes, trade schools are cheaper and have more jobs. True. There's nothing wrong with trade schools. I think that there should be a tuition-free option for trade schools and community college. I think there should be something like the GI Bill as it was for the Nitro Boost in America in the 1950s. Yeah, but the problem with that is that, like, the GI Bill was linked to your service in the military, right? So you have to participate in the military to get it, and it wasn't really offered to everybody. So yeah, that's a problem. I'm not comfortable linking like military service to like something that as important as like education. Some unions will pay for your education through a trade school. That's good. I'm a jack of all trades. I can work in any field. Nice. Yeah, so that's good. Unions paying for education. A-okay. My point is, these companies, these these huge multi-national companies, these massive companies, absolutely can do all of these benefits, even to their retail employees, and choose not to unless they're absolutely forced back against the wall. Right? These companies absolutely can provide good benefits and can invest in their employees should they want to, right? They just choose not to. They could also raise wages. That being said, if they have all these resources to finance a good education benefit to offer employees, that means they can absolutely raise wages. Alright, we'll get to it, Thinking Sabercat. Military service is a path to a career for the academically opposed? Well, I mean, like, not even. Not even. You could be like a trade worker with your hands, you know? Like, electrician, plumber, AC repair. I mean, like, these are not necessarily, like, there's no like large academic necessity for that, but there are trade schools. So I don't know, like military service isn't like, I don't think that military service is like it shouldn't be a carrot, you know, like your basic necessities to be successful shouldn't be dangled through military service. Poverty is a tool to encourage military service. Yeah, true. Actually true. The Peace Corps? Yeah, I don't think they're part of the military. True. Who gets called to break up strikes and stuff like that? True. TLDR, they can do all of this. They choose not to unless absolutely needed. Pro-fossil fuel ads were viewed 431 million times in 1 year. Nice. Big Oil is strategically using Facebook to blitz Americans with a steady stream of messages designed to delay the extinction of fossil fuel use, according to new research. Pro-fossil fuel ads were viewed more than 431 million times on Facebook in 2020 alone. Despite the vast reach, oil and gas industry just spent 9.6 million on ads, according to Influence Map, a think tank focused on energy and climate change. Yes. The oil and gas industry is using a more sophisticated playbook to undermine climate action, which involves the use of more subtle and nuanced messaging tactics. Out of the 25 organizations Influence Map studies, the biggest user of paid ads on Facebook were ExxonMobil. Congratulations, Exxon. You continue to make the top of the list as to the problematic folks contributing to this crisis. The American Petroleum Institute, the industry's powerful trade group, Exxon and API accounted for the staggering 62% of the ads analyzed by researchers. The assertions made are deliberately misleading and without merit. Exxon said in a statement to CNN Business, nice meme. We believe that sound public policy is achieved when a variety of informed voices participate in the political process. Well, the problem is, informed voices would know that you're part of the problem. And the variety of informed voices is the implication that there's some type of, like, I don't know, there's some type of, quote, debate happening here. I don't get ads on Facebook unless I'm on desktop, but others have told me it's every other ad. True. Think of all the workers that benefited from that money spent. Which money spent? Nestle should be cancelled. I'm fine with that. That is an appropriate boycott. That Big Oil spent making ads, the workers benefiting. Hey, listen, bud. Think of like the destruction of the planet. How about that one? How about that one? How about like the fact that the complicity of ExxonMobil in the destruction of the planet that will eventually affect all of us, including the workers? Jesus Christ. Our energy literacy posts on social media are a fraction of the robust investments our companies are making every day into breakthrough technology research to help shape a lower carbon future. Efforts like methane capture, hydrogen carbon sequestration, and others. That's not getting off fossil fuels. These are band-aids on shotgun wounds. The report comes as Facebook remains under pressure for its role of the spread of misinformation, including lies about the 2020 election. True. True. This is also just a week after senior Exxon lobbyists appeared to reveal in an undercover video how the oil company uses its political muscle to undercut climate action. Right, like, this is unbelievable. Like, they're still trying to do, like, PR damage control when it's like, that video is on the internet. That video isn't going away. Okay? To undercut its climate action, Exxon CEO Darren Woods condemned and apologized for the comments that were caught on tape. Yeah, Influence Map found a sharp jump in spending on Facebook ads in the US from fossil fuel groups in July 15 of 2020. Then the day after then candidate Biden announced his $2 trillion climate plan. Amazing. Biden's proposal called on ending power plant emissions by 2035 and a sharp reduction in fossil fuel consumption to fight the climate crisis. The industry is using social media strategically and deploying its ads at key political moments. Not surprised. The ad avoided outright climate denial. Instead, the message sought to prolong the use of oil and gas through more nuanced messaging tactics. One strategy employed in the ads was to link the use of oil and gas to maintaining a high quality of life. Another tactic was to draw attention on voluntary steps the industry has taken on climate change. Yeah, sure. Okie dokie. The report identified 6,782 ads promoting natural gas as clean or green and pointed out, wait, no, that's not true, and pointed out that none of these were removed by Facebook as misinformation or misleading content. Right, like, wait, that's not true. Sits in a room surrounded by products being bought to him by a diesel truck. Hey, listen, bud, do you have like another take other than this? Because this is the most unbelievable basic take I've ever heard. Oh yeah, hey guys, this guy is a hypocrite because he lives in the system and therefore like it has to be completely outdoors, no electricity, no internet, no nothing to fully live like the stuff he preaches. Like, no, dude, my single self will never ever be even close to a grain of what these companies pollute and destroy ever. Okay, this is some childish take, right? You do realize like how childish that take is, right? At this point, like if this is your take, we're like, dude, you're such a hypocrite, bro. Like, you're like participating in society, bro. Dude, these things all brought to you by like, yeah, I know that. Who sells them? Who makes them? Holy yikes. You don't live in poverty because the internal combustion engine has brought to... Okay, but also we recognize as people who don't live in like the 1800s, we recognize that at this point in time, it's no longer necessary and we can do better. Okay? At this point in time, as people who don't live in the 1800s, we can realize we have new technology and we have better ways of doing things. Holy yikes. This is unbelievably childish. Yeah, amazing. I live in society and I want to improve it somewhat and try to make this a better place, knowing the fact that there's like different stuff that we can do, right? Oh, amazing. Amazing. In response to the report, Facebook spokesperson pointed out fossil fuel ads are not exclusive to social media. While ads like this run on many platforms, yeah, Facebook trying to cop out. Nice meme. Researchers have said presenting natural gas as a low-carbon fuel source disguises the fact that it is mostly made up of methane, one of the most potent greenhouse gases. Like, I mean, this is like elementary science class. We know how greenhouse gases work, and methane is one of the harshest ones. That's why International Energy Agency said the world needs to stop drilling for oil and gas right now to prevent a climate catastrophe. True. Presenting fossil gas as a low carbon fuel has increasingly been targeted by regulators as a misleading claim. Yeah, because it's misleading. However, it's noteworthy that not too long ago, natural gas was viewed as many as a bridge fuel that would ease transition away from coals. For years, the Obama-Biden administration was supportive of natural gas as a cleaner alternative. Yeah, no. In its statement to CNN Business, API noted the U.S. produces, transports, and distributes natural gas while meeting some of the highest environmental standards in the world. Cool. That doesn't change the fact that we need to do what we can in the time that we have, with the technology that we have at this time, to get rid of fossil fuels in any way, shape, or form possible. In terms of one of the things that we need to do. Coal-reliant economies worldwide consistently turn to natural gas as a cleaner fuel source, enabling U.S. to export climate progress while strengthening our national security and supporting our economy. Like, explain to me how this has anything to do with national security. Like, really, explain that to me. I'm super curious. Because it doesn't. Like, if you're talking about energy independence, how awesome would it be and how independent would it be if we can get, like, the overwhelming majority of our energy, of our electricity and the way we do things, with renewables? How energy independent would we be? Cold fusion would be neat. There's a thing. Turn off the air conditioning. Oh yeah. Hey guys, my air conditioning. Me alone. I'm gonna save the planet. I'm gonna save the planet by doing this one action. Me, an individual. Also not terribly far off, but close enough to solve climate. Well, it's not going to solve climate change, but definitely the idea that we can move forward with this type would be great, because it would allow us to get out of fossil fuels, which is one of the main things that we need to do. Besides the whole, besides like the myriad of different things that we need to do, that is one of them. Right? It's like children, they will stubbornly disappear below the waves, saying climate change isn't real. Yeah, like this clown over here. Like, oh yeah, hey guys, you have AC, you hypocrite. Like, no, dude. Utility scale renewables are now less expensive than coal and natural gas plants. True. Cold fusion will happen right after pigs can fly. Well, it's possible. It's possible. And Exxon has described natural gas as a versatile and abundant fuel, which helped contribute to the lower U.S. emissions since 2000. The company noted that many countries and states have included a shift to natural gas as part of their carbon reduction programs. Yeah, I think we should be moving towards carbon-free. Best thing I like about the left is they support abortion. Abortion is green. Wait, what? What? Abortion is green? Like, what does that even mean? Are you okay? Like, are you... What? Are you okay? I don't even know what that means. And, like, just so you know, like, where we live, all of this is being powered by nuclear. So, yeah. My AC is connected to the power grid, which is currently powered by nuclear. So, yeah, get fucked. Environmental collapse has nothing to do with a century of industry. It's all your fault for owning a computer in society that requires you to own a computer. Right. Definitely. Checkmate. Nah, terraforming is like, no. Democratic Representative Ro Khanna, the chairman of Environmental Subcommittee for the House and Committee on Oversight and Reform, slammed the oil and gas industry over the findings of the report. For decades, fossil fuels had misled the public, the regulators, and Congress about its true danger posed to its products. True. See Exxon hiding its reports way back from the 80s. Oh, me? No. Florida man, remember? Florida man. True. True. Anyways, the TLDR on this is almost all Twitch lefties suck. Okay. To make and power that what? What are you talking about? The nuclear plant doesn't produce any output. Maybe to build it, but that's already been built for quite some time. I'm talking about your ignorance on how shit works. That's really, really neat because, like, the only person showing their ignorance right now is, like, you. What are you talking about? Like, you act like... Right, you're ignorant of just how ignorant you are. True. That's so true. Cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think that this person is like a time traveler. I think they live in like the 1800s where the only thing that's like possible is like the internal combustion engine. I don't know. I think this person might be a time traveler. Alright, so TLDR, the fossil fuel industry is making a massive effort to continue to astroturf the airwaves to try to delay the inevitable, and to try to continue to spread misinformation to avoid their profits being touched. And that's what it's all about. Dollar bill. That's it. That's it. Profits over, you know, the climate. Yeah, coming from someone who doesn't know anything about anything, you're not saying very much. True. Thermodynamics seem to think that the internal combustion engine is the most efficient, cost-effective way of producing energy. What? Wait, source? Hold on, this makes absolutely no sense. Source? What? Anyways. Biden to... Jesus, I hate these ads. To announce new emission standards target that 50% of vehicles sold in the US by 2030 are electric. Yes, kind of. But, what we need to do is really focus on getting our energy grids off of fossil fuels, right? Without using Google, use define thermodynamics. Geothermal is actually better. There you go. I see, like, on the surface, like, all of these claims sound just completely nonsense. Hey, do we have an infrared? Do we have an infrared supporter? Do we have an infrared supporter in chat? Do we have an infrared supporter in chat? I can do both? Okay, because you sound like one of them. Like, is your, like, I don't know, do you not have, like, anything better to do or something like that? Getting crazy, I'm out, love and peace. Thank you, I appreciate you stopping by. Infrared is a caricature, Revolt Rise. He's absolutely nuts. I wouldn't really listen to him. And you sound like something of the squad who do nothing? Oh no! Oh no! The do nothing squad, who are like 5 of them. Okay. I suppose you have nothing better to do with your time other than just like ad hom people in chat and myself. I've been making ingots with my furnace, so I understand thermodynamics. Nice. Yeah, I do wear beanies for premature molding. Yeah, that's what it is. Continues to add mom. Just stay mad, dude. I mean, hey, look, your username is I guess appropriate. Looks like somebody's just so mad. Dude. What happened? Do you not, like, are you off work today or something? Is it Chada just states mad? This is a terrific performance art. I've never seen better satire on the right. I don't know if it's satire. I don't know if this person has nothing better to do. But sure. Ad hom is an attack on Char. You're a Floridian, so no one takes you seriously. Fine, I'll give you that one. Damn, our engineer friend left. What happened? Damn, our engineer friend who was so sure of himself, I guess left. That's a shame. No, you're an actual engineer, Wiz. And you're an actual friend. So I meant that sarcastic for our other friend who couldn't answer a couple of questions. Alright, since you have absolutely nothing else to say, other than just like, I don't know, I guess insult people, this is the adults table. This is the adults table, so... Time me out, Snowflake. Yeah, this is the adults table. Sorry. Anyways, TLDR, they're trying to, Jesus thinking Sabercat. They're trying to, I guess, expand, yeah, it's an attack on the character. Like, listen, words are hard, so you know what? Maybe they should take a timeout and, like, learn about smart confidence will get us through the day. Hey, you never even answered any of the questions, my dude. It sounds like maybe you're having trouble with understanding stuff, and that's okay because I don't know everything. And you know what? I don't decide to act like I know everything. All right, and then when pushed on it, you can't even answer like basic like questions. Jesus Christ. The Chad that just couldn't stop being mad at me DM'd me. Wow, big mad. Where are these clowns coming from today? Holy yikes. I'm pretty sure that they have absolutely no idea. They just like use words, and I mean they're words. He's definitely using words, but I don't know if he knows what any of them mean. Towards electric vehicles, announcing a new target that half of the vehicles sold in 2030 will be battery electric, fuel cell electric, or plug-in hybrid. Here's the problem. Although that seems good on the surface, exactly who can afford these if there are no subsidies involved? How much is the price difference, and what will that really mean? Because like, I mean, okay, so half of them will be electric, great, less use of fossil fuels, but what would the prices be, and would they be affordable? Is the real question, right? And furthermore, this isn't really getting to the root of the problem in terms of like addressing climate change, and I feel like using these type of things are just ways of deflecting and prolonging necessary action. That's just the reality of it. Bro, you're trash. You should stop streaming because clearly no one subs to you. Bro, I don't care. I don't care what some like rando dude on the internet has to say. Alright? So like, I guess like your username, just stay mad. Just stay mad, bro. Like, I hope one day you'll find something that makes you happy in life. But yeah, dude. I guess living up to your username. I hope one day you'll find something that makes you happy. Bro, no one cares what you say either. Apparently 35 plus people do, so yeah. I can't wait till climate change takes out Florida. Yeah, well, that will happen at some point. But anyways, dude, find something that makes you happy, alright? Find something that makes you happy. May I suggest a hobby? May I suggest a hobby? I sub to a difficult truth, and I enjoyed this stream. Ha! Checkmate. Infrastructure of charging stations and source electricity, ensure that electric vehicles are just to make rich people feel better. Time for this, for trains, for public transport. Yes. I agree. I agree. I think public transportation, as green public transportation, is good. It's a good idea. Hey, OG Landshark. You came in just in time. Right, which is what I was saying. But it's like I'm not sure like what this would mean in the long term of like trying to is it even affordable? Like, what's the deal with this? I also enjoyed the stream. He pays me $50 a day, but that has nothing to do with why I watch. Hey, listen, don't give out the game, okay? You can't give out the scheming. You can't give out the scheming. How else am I supposed to keep an audience if I don't pay them? That's the whole scheme, right? How else am I supposed to keep an audience if I don't pay them? US plans to require COVID-19 for foreign travelers. I agree. The Biden administration is taking first steps requiring all near foreign visitors to the US to be vaccinated of the coronavirus. The requirement would come as part of the administration's phased approach to easing travel restrictions for foreign citizens to the country. No timeline has yet been determined as interagency groups study on how when to safely resuming normal travel. I think that this should be kind of like a broad thing. I think that this is fine. I'm not really against making sure that there's as little ways of this being perpetuated. I feel like a policy like this may be necessary. But here we are. There are plenty of ignorant people. Like, you still haven't even answered any of the questions being proposed to you. It seems to me like you just don't know what you're talking about. When someone has like this really defensive like nature of just making statements like just calling people ignorant while being asked clarifying questions and can't answer them, maybe they just don't know what they're talking about. Do you think this will spark vaccine travel? I don't know. Tesla has some interesting tech with solar housing. Matched with cars for zero carbon emission, but again, the costs. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're still not even capable of answering any of the questions. So why should anybody listen to you? You were asked a very specific question. I'm still trying to get some of that NATO money Jimmy Dore was talking about. I have bills to pay. Lamau, Jimmy Dore. Oh man, is that who Stay Mad came from? Oh man, is that who Stay Mad came from? Because like they were talking about like the fraud squad or whatever. Oh man, did we have like an inadvertent Jimmy Dore fan we didn't know? Anyways, TLDR, I think this should be a good idea. I don't see your chat troll. They must have me blocked. Lamau. Excellent. I don't know. I don't know. I just like assumed because like they said that they didn't like infrared, which is okay, cool. And then they said something about like the squad. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I've taken 2 L's. I'm 0 for 2 trying to judge. If we could all be so lucky. California regulators voted to restrict water access for thousands of farmers amid severe drought. California water regulators voted on Tuesday to restrict water access for thousands of Central Valley farmers as the state endures a severe drought. The California water unanimously agreed to ensure an emergency order that banned some farmers from diverting waters from rivers and streams in the Sacramento and San Joaquin River watersheds to irrigate their crops. Amid one of California's worst droughts, the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta watershed has been suffering from low supply as demand continues to climb. Yeah, that's kind of a problem, which is being exacerbated by climate change. The drought is very real, said Karen Ross, Secretary of California's Department of Food and Agriculture. It's a painful moment. Under the new order, Californians who plan to divert more than 55 gallons away per day from rivers or streams in this region must submit a petition and proposal to the state's deputy director for approval. All water rights holders must also report their water use and submit a certification to comply with the new standards. Yeah, this is just to illustrate the new normal. That's just a new normal. I'm gonna go watch the hearing in domestic terrorism. Peace. Oh, there's a hearing about that? I didn't know. Fuck Jimmy Dore and you. Nice! Both are useless to the left, and that's the difficult truth to swallow. I still want to know, like, where, like, do you seriously have nothing better to do? Holy shit, I thought I banned you. Ooh. Water theft is now a thing. True. True. And it's only going to get worse as climate change continues. U.S. water rights are derived. Riparianism thought, but riparianism is conceived in a warmer, dry climate and with climate change. This is the situation we're in right now. And we have to do what we need to do to get off fossil fuels, to restore poor resources, to restore ecosystems that have been destroyed. We have to do whatever we can to bring an international coalition to solve climate change. And we need to understand that also like big agriculture, farming, agriculture, and all of this also have a part to play. That's right, thinking Sabercat. Since Hoover built was the population of those desert communities effects have effed South California. Yeah, I mean, like, everything has a consequence, right? Everything has a consequence. Alright, folks. I think, got a few more to go over. Alright, Tucky boy. Oh yeah, pipe tie, fine, we'll do that. I see New York Mag. Wait, what is this? Oh, no, where is it? Oh, is it this?
This is a full...
Jesus Christ.
Obtained by the Washington Post, where Republican Senator Ron Johnson, in a video obtained by the Washington Post, where Republican Senator Ron Johnson suggests that the FBI may have been behind the January 6th Capitol riot. Let's take a look. The Capitol riots. I'd forgotten all about this. Do you remember this? Thousands of angry MAGA hats storming the Capitol, threatening to hang Mike Pence. Do you remember that? No, neither do the Republicans. Fucking cowards. These Republican congressmen, they are fucking cowards. Pretending shit didn't go down the way we all saw it go down.
True.
Yes, you hate the Democrats and you hate liberals and abortion and guns. No, you love guns. And no doubt it is inconvenient for you that it was Republican voters doing the rioting. I get it, okay? But you saw the same pictures I saw, with my actual eyes. The angry mob storming the Capitol and changing the American flag for the Trump flag and smashing shit up whilst rifling through Nancy Pelosi's drinks cabinet. And people being killed.
True.
Murdered.
True.
We all saw it. You can't just pretend it. It wasn't CGI. It was live news. Half of
we saw it live.
Fucking building at the time.
We saw it live.
Being protected by law enforcement officers you are now undermining for your own political gain. You fucking cowards.
Back the blue.
The same Republicans who were shouting at BLM, goddarn woke liberals for wanting to defund the police just voted en masse against funding the Capitol Police. Why? Because funding the Capitol Police is a partisan issue now. Why? Because the Capitol Police risked their lives protecting Republican congressmen and women from an armed insurrection that didn't happen, according to Republican congressmen and women. the party of law and order. They shout Blue Lives Matter and then call the police pussies and traitors just for saying what happened that day. Abandoned because their truth.
Imagine the irony of like beating police officers with the blue flag, the thin blue line flag.
Experiences don't fit with your political message, which is nothing to see here. 4 of the police officers who were there that day have subsequently committed suicide. Shame on you. It certainly still feels like Trump's America, doesn't it? I don't want to talk about the low-hanging fruit that is Donald Trump. And by low-hanging fruit, I mean testes.
Oh, no.
But just look at what's left of America. They've reached a point where rooting against their national Olympic team and being okay with your fellow Americans dying of COVID and racially abusing police officers and threatening to kill the Speaker of the House on the steps of the Capitol are seen as patriotic. And where trying to understand what happened on January the 6th is seen as more treasonous than the attack itself. This is Trump's legacy, the erosion of truth.
True.
Trump was truth's kryptonite, the nemesis of truth, this green lump, this orange lump of toxic anti-truth.
I reject that. I reject that. There's like, be kind to individuals and ruthless with institutions, right? Like, you know, those folks were like, I don't want like to essentialize like each individual. So yeah, I would say that I think we should be kind to individuals and ruthless with systems.
Fragile that he would rather undermine.
Are there any discount codes for the merch? I have no idea. I didn't make one up. Maybe I should.
He lost. My Twitter feed, it's full of people telling me there's plenty of evidence that he won, but when you ask them for it, they all go, "Oh, fuck off, you snowflake."
True. Hey, like our friend who never answered the question.
But let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Let's do that, because presumably the majority of the people storming the Capitol genuinely believe Trump won the election.
Oh,
because he told them
Memius coming in hot with a t-shirt purchase. Thank you so much.
Democracy. Well, if that is the case, surely you want an investigation into that sequence of events, right? You'd welcome the truth coming out because you'd be a hero. And if it really was the FBI or Antifa or the ghost of JFK,
I don't know, like despite being like
you'd want an investigation
obviously having problems with the institution as the police, I don't know. I feel like individuals or individual cops are still like individuals, and
China and the Taliban,
I think that like we can separate these two, right?
This denial of truth, in case it contradicts your opinion, is a cancer that is killing America. It's killing democracy across the globe.
True.
Where we don't believe our own eyes if we don't agree with what we see. A global pandemic of misinformation and mistrust. We've decided that anything outside our belief system or political bent is fake. You choose the facts you like and dismiss the ones you don't.
True.
No one wants the truth anymore. So as far as Trump is concerned, mission accomplished.
True. Yeah, well, I would say then, like, take the example of, like, for example, some folks feel because of the system that we live in that they have no choice other than join the military. Does that mean like they're bad? Or maybe we should address the things that brought that condition for that person to make these choices.
Well, last week we heard some emotional testimony from some of the police officers who were there, but is...
I love this guy. This guy's pretty cool. Donald Trump wants his supporters to carry Trump cards. Nice. I'm not on Twitter, but I have any hashtags like pack in the park or mask our choice being popping up? No, but But we do have people like Candace Owens completely denying that there's anything such as a pandemic going on. And Candace Owens has a pretty big audience, so there's that. Trump official card, folks. Just another way to fleece the sheep. Yet another way of, you know, putting... of just fleecing the sheep. Donald Trump wants his supporters to carry Trump cards. To get on board with carrying the red and gold cards, which look like credit cards and bear the former president's signature. The card you select will be carried by patriots. Again, making this like, making this distinction about who is a real patriot, and making that distinction, and the only real patriots are those who follow him loyally. And of course, this is only for the strongest supporters. The latest con. All made in China, I'm sure. Authorized by President Trump. It's even got that weird reminiscent eagle there. So Trump supporters will carry this but won't get vaccinated? Yeah. We need more dog mayors. Is that a German eagle? It is too close to it. It's very, very akin. Very, very, it's very, 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 very reminiscent. I don't know if this is the American bald eagle or if that's like the shout out, one of the many shout outs throughout his campaign. I don't know, kind of makes you wonder. Alright, Tucker Carlson has seen the future, and it is fascist. Well, let's see. 1919 progressive journalist Lincoln Steffens visited the nascent Soviet Union, declared to have seen the future, and it works. Tucker Carlson's week-long Budapest versus Fox News, showing the infomercial for Viktor Orban's illiberal regime is being conducted in the much same spirit. Interesting. Yeah, it's close. It's weirdly... I don't know. Maybe Trump wants to lead the Romulan Empire star from a gold-plated bird of prey. Jesus Christ. It's being conducted in much the same spirit. If you care about Western civilization and democracy and families and the ferocious assault on all of these things by the leaders of our global institutions, Western civilization, you should know what is happening here right now, Carlson gushed. Of course, democracy is not a category description any small Democrat would apply to Hungary, a state that has dropped a pretense of respecting democratic institutions. Under Orban, the Freedom of House, which under Orban, according to Freedom House, is no longer categorized as a democracy at all. There are not mere details, and Carlson isn't not overlooking them. He's laying down a marker for the highest profile he can that Orban's iron fist is the future of the Republican Party should want. The splashy and premature Fox News primetime personality, which is probably the right's most influential media figure, is an important milestone in the Republican Party's long evolution into authoritarianism. Now, I see where, I see the skew. I see where the skew is coming from. And I see, the, editorializing, but the reality is, it is disturbing to find people like Tucker Carlson, who is incredibly influential, reaches millions of people, hanging out, praising and saying things very, very, very positive about people like Orban. And of course, Orban has emerged fitfully over the last decade. One could find defenses of Hungarian regimes in places like the New York Post, the Federalist, the Heritage Foundation, and the National Review. Orban's corruption of a former democracy occurred step by step. He gerrymandered electoral map to give his supporters an overwhelming advantage, stacked the judiciary, he leveraged state power to force large businesses to support his party. This seems, I don't know. This seems like a blueprint we've seen before. I don't know. Stacking the Supreme Court, so on and so forth. Yeah. So, the point being is, this is what Tucker Carlson is praising and went out of his way to visit and, hang out with this guy. So I see the editorializing, but like, the reality is, this is very, very disturbing. This is very disturbing, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about this. Billy Tucker is an actor. Remember, he was in a bow tie and thinks, I think it's an act myself. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if Tucker doesn't believe a single word he's saying. The problem is, he is reaching millions of people who do. Right? So, like, he may not believe, or he may believe everything he says. I don't genuinely know, and I don't really care. The consequences is still the same, right? These millions of people do trust him and do believe what he's saying. Like, if your actions and your words and your I guess ripple effects of what you say and how you say it leads people to very destructive ideologies, it doesn't matter if you ironically, unironically, maybe I kind of believe it, I don't, I'm just here for the money. It doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. That's why there's no such thing as an ironic Nazi. Well, I don't know if they understand the word irony. I don't know if they can be ironic. Usually those folks are very, 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 very one track, very, very upfront. They don't understand irony. Debunking more garbage. It does sometimes gets tiring, but it has to be done. On New Year's Day of this year, Rochelle Walensky, is just a college professor. You'd almost certainly never hear of her. Okay, blah blah blah. The CDC got this information about disease. Yes, true. So I don't get it. What's his claim? Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on.
You just...
Not sure if that's true. I casualized Mr. Medicare and he hates both sides. Hilariously told about the last off the internet. Yeah, I don't know. Like, trolling and irony are two different things, I assume. Jesus. Miss Nixa.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. All of a sudden, it's pretty easy for people to move around the world, and all of a sudden they are. Poor people moving from poor countries across the globe into rich countries. Why wouldn't they? And again, that's what's happening.
What?
Back in 2015, more than 1 million illegal migrants flooded into Europe, and many of them came to Hungary, where we are right now.
Oh, no.
It was a crisis for the continent, but alone in Europe, Hungary figured out how to solve that problem in a way that we have not figured out here in the United States.
How did they solve that problem, Tucky?
How did Hungary do that? How did it preserve its borders and its society? What can we learn from that? Today we took a trip to find out. We'll show you what we found in just a minute. Also, the woes for the country's creepiest governor, that would be Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, are compounded today, getting even more painful and yet at the same time more amusing. He's even being stabbed in the front by his allies at CNN. We've got that tape for you. But first tonight, Good evening, welcome to Chuck Carlson tonight. On New Year's Day of this year, Rochelle Walensky was just a college professor in Massachusetts. You almost certainly never heard of her. You definitely didn't vote for her at any point because Walensky had never run for office. As of January 1st, her political power was precisely the same as yours and everyone else's in the supposedly self-governing republic.
What does that even mean? Wait, what is he talking about? Is he talking about like the head of CDC, which is put in charge by an administration that you elected? I don't get it.
Rochelle Walensky had one vote out of a nation of 320 million people. And then, just a few weeks later, everything changed for her and for the rest of
That's
them.
right, Rick.
Joe Biden appointed Walensky to run the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. At the time, it did not seem like a huge deal. The CDC is not a legislative body. It's a public health bureau. It was originally designed to fight malaria, and it did a good job. The CDC now gathers information about diseases and then releases guidance about those diseases to the public. That's what it does.
Okay,
The CDC
yeah, that's what they do. Yes. And?
not make laws in this country. It's not allowed to. Under the U.S. Constitution, making laws is the exclusive role of the Congress.
Okay.
You vote for your senators and your congressmen, and they decide what the rules are. That's known as representative democracy. It's been our system for nearly 250 years. But apparently, it's now over. Rochelle Walensky now makes our laws.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hey,
Hey,
guys. Our democracy, representative democracy, it's gone. Guys, it doesn't exist anymore. It's just poof. It's gone. It's just gone. Just like that, in one fell swoop, it's gone.
Rental properties, millions and millions of them from Maine to California. Tenants are no longer required to pay their rent. Property owners cannot evict them under any circumstances.
That's called the rent moratorium, which is under the purview of the CDC because it's in the purview of public health, yada, yada, yada.
Making someone pay to live on your property is now a federal crime. Try it and you can wind up in prison with hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. At the same time, you should know, property owners will still be required to pay the banks that hold their mortgages. There is no moratorium on mortgages. Why? The banks are huge Democratic donors and they're getting the treatment that they paid for. Sandy Cortez and the squad are not calling for the banks to do their part, so they're not. It's property owners who will suffer, many of the members of the rapidly disappearing American middle class. It's hard to overstate what a momentous change this is. It means, among other things, that private property no longer exists in the United States.
Hey guys, I too remember that when a CDC guidance or a CDC rule for eviction moratoriums erases entire property, it erased entire private property. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. My parents who own a home, they're just not. It just doesn't exist anymore, guys. It just Tucker Carlson spoke, and it just doesn't exist anymore.
You thought you owned your home, not anymore. Rochelle Walensky
not anymore.
Decide who can live there, under what circumstances, and for how long. Is this a good idea? Of course not. It's totalitarian. But there's an even more pressing question at the center of this, a principle that defines what kind of country this is and what kind of country it will be going forward. And the question is this: where did Rochelle Walensky get the power to do this, to suspend private property rights in America? And the answer:
obviously, private property rights are not suspended. This is nonsense.
She simply asserted the power. Walensky claimed she had the authority, and no one stopped her from exercising it. This morning, she signed an official-looking order declaring that her opinion is now the law, and so it is the law. But wait, you say, that doesn't seem very American. Shouldn't somebody vote on this? If we're going to continue to pretend this is a democracy, and you hear that on television constantly, then shouldn't our elected lawmakers...
Tucker Carlson crying about democracy while in Viktor Orban's Hungary is incredibly rich.
Make the laws? No, and they're not going to. Nancy Pelosi has refused to call a vote on the matter, and she runs the Congress. She decides.
Hungary.
Meanwhile, most Republicans haven't said a word about it. And that means that an unelected college professor...
I'm a Marxist-Leninist, Maoist, Bidenist now?
How all this can possibly be legal, rest assured that it's not legal. It's not even arguably legal. We know that for a fact. The Supreme Court has just ruled on this specific question. The court found that the CDC does not have the right to institute a nationwide eviction moratorium. Period. Only Congress can do that. Now, the court didn't make its guess on their view of this. The court put this in writing in the clearest possible language. There's no debate about that. The Biden administration just ignored what the court said. How can they do that? Well, Congresswoman Maxine Waters of Los Angeles understands exactly how they did it. Waters is hardly a genius. It's likely she's never read an entire book. But one thing Maxine Waters knows very well is how third world regimes operate. When you want something, you simply take it. You've got the guns. Who's going to stop you? Might makes right. The Fidel Castro method. Waters explained that out loud today as she pushed Rochelle Walensky to suspend private property. Quote, I don't buy that the CDC can't extend the eviction moratorium, Waters wrote on Twitter, perfectly aware as she did that the Supreme Court has already prohibited this. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to penalize them? Well, good question. Nobody. And Nancy Pelosi knows that too. Pelosi knows that what Rochelle Walensky just did is illegal by definition. She also understands that openly ignoring a Supreme Court ruling will mean the end of our current system. And that's fine with Nancy Pelosi.
What? Listen, you know what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Okay, so this guy is like obviously speaking in like wild hyperboles. No, like a Supreme Court decision, ignoring a Supreme Court decision is not the end of democracy. What's going to happen probably is it's going to get repealed. That if it's an unconstitutional law, it's going to get repealed, and that would be the end of it. Like, what? Why is Stucky Boy in Hungary to praise Viktor Orban?
Quote, the CDC has the power to extend the eviction moratorium, Pelosi said. Pelosi didn't explain where that power might come from. She simply declared that it exists, as dictators do. Keep in mind that even Joe Biden, who knows very little, knows that what his administration has just done is against the law. He said that on camera yesterday.
I've sought out constitutional scholars to determine what is the best possibility that would come from executive action or the CDC's judgment. What could they do that was most likely to pass muster constitutionally? the bulk of the constitutional scholarship says that it's not likely to pass constitutional muster.
Okay, so so then we have courts that will overturn it, so on and so forth. Like, this isn't the end of American representative democracy. Jesus Christ, Tucker. Like, do you see like the fear and like the feelies that are trying to be worked up here with the little not so subtle dog whistles? Wasn't the first moratorium done by Trump the executive order? I'm not sure.
Key scholars who think that it may, and it's worth the effort.
So the eviction moratorium has been in place for months. It has just been extended as of today. So people have debated this, jurists have weighed in on it, and so we know it won't, quote, pass constitutional muster, says Joe Biden.
So then it would be repealed.
Illegal. The people doing it are criminals. That's the word we use for people.
What? Wait. So, wait. No. That's something being unconstitutional does not, quote, equal you being a this doesn't even make sense. That's not how the God, like, he's saying that, like, he just like ad hommed Maxine Waters saying like, well, she's never read her book in her life. Clearly you haven't either.
People who knowingly break the law, but like most criminals are not embarrassed by breaking the law. That's what they do. Watch Joe Biden's senior advisor, a thoroughly oily character called Gene Sperling, tell you that the rule of law just isn't relevant here.
To date, the CDC director and her team have been unable to find legal authority even for a more targeted eviction moratorium that would focus just on counties with higher rates of COVID.
So fight it in the courts.
Really understands the heartbreak of eviction. He is the reason why he is pressing and pressing even when legal authority.
I'm not sure that exists.
We have to support every potential authority.
These people are so filthy, but they're self-righteous. Did you catch that? We don't have the legal authority to do what we're doing, but we're doing it anyway. Because who's going to stop us? Republicans? Mitch McConnell, please. Mark Milley doesn't report to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell doesn't control the FBI or the intelligence agencies. Mitch McConnell is unarmed. What's he going to do about it? Give a grumpy speech and drive back to his condo? That's what they're saying. That's what criminals always say when they shake you down at gunpoint. And make no mistake, that's exactly what they're doing because that's exactly who they are.
Lamau. This is the state of discourse and in the right with Fox News's most elevated, most viewed host. This is what counts as political discourse and political analysis, hyperbole about like the end of American representative democracy because like of one unconstitutional point in the attempt to keep people in their homes so that they don't, like, I don't know, die or something. I don't know. This is like incredible. Like, you see how like the argument shifts from like, hey, maybe we should help people, and like if this isn't the way, then let's figure out how we can help people. But no, it's this is what we're talking about on the right. Anyway, folks, it is 11:28. I did overstay, unfortunately. Thank you guys so much for joining. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Heem. Thank you all the Heemers for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Surfer Gokidi for the raid. Thank you, Memius. Thank you, Alio, for the support. I appreciate you guys. All the new follows, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please make sure you follow. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe, YouTube's, all the awesome stuff, and of course, make sure you tell everybody far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And as always, please, thank you for the follow, Sitting Cow. Please take care. Please stay safe. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya. Alright, folks, hang tight really quick before we sign off. Come on. Oh man, we're cutting it close today. Whew. Raid channel, let's see. Iden Simpson. We haven't visited Iden in quite some time. Alright. Alright, folks, we're heading out. Show some love to Iden Simpson. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.